I get it. That opening image is kind of provocative. I'm telling you that I've got this magic wand that I could wave across the state of Florida, and it would contribute to affordable housing and community revitalization in every single city, every single county, all across the state of Florida. But it's dead serious, and there's no real mystery here about what I'm talking about. In every single community that I've seen, from the Panhandle all the way down to Key West in the tip of Florida, there are vacant and abandoned properties that are costing taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars, and there are collectively billions of dollars owed to every single taxpayer across the state of Florida. And when you look at what this issue is and you understand how simple and clear it is, you are only left with the question, why are elected officials not taking action to bring these vacant, blighted, and abandoned properties back onto the property rolls so that the tax burden for the rest of us can be lowered? I'm doing these videos because I just had a hearing this morning where literally in one of the communities I worked, there was this property that became owned by a foreign corporation. And that foreign corporation had abandoned this property in a city. And in this city that I work with is smart, is thoughtful. We got a great city manager and a city council that says, go forth, mayor, go forth, city manager. I don't want to stare at this vacant and abandoned property. And for years, we've been churning through this inventory of stuff. And the message is black and white to these foreign corporations. If you're going to own a piece of property in this city, you're going to take care of it. You're not going to let that pool get green. You're not going to let that roof get ripped off and do nothing about it. You're not going to let that grass be tall. And so that had happened in this particular property. Foreign corporation owned this thing. Code enforcement officers went out there, opened up a case. Grass was tall, roof was bad, pool was green, and they started fining. Total amount was, I don't know, $100,000 that were fines against there. And the corporation said black and white, we ain't going to pay this thing. We'd rather just walk away and abandon this property than we would pay the money that's owed to taxpayers. Now, this concept is just so black and white, and I've got a decade worth of proof in literally millions of dollars owed, thousands of properties that have gone back onto the rolls that are contributing to affordable housing in a community. And sort of the insistence and the emphatic nature of these videos is that every mayor, every city council member, every citizen in the community has this wand in your hand. This tool, it exists. It's Chapter 162 Florida statutes, and every single community has adopted in their local ordinances the ordinances that authorize code enforcement departments to go out and do what I am imploring you to do. And I tell you, I've given this presentation at code enforcement seminars all across this state multiple times. I've gone to the annual conferences. I've gone to local meetings and presented this. And part of this gospel, I call it the active gospel of active code enforcement, is out of respect to the code enforcement officers, because we have these good people that are about serving their community, and they are frustrated because they are neutered, they are clipped, they are prevented from doing good work for their citizens, for their community. And as I go to these seminars and I do this presentation, every single code enforcement officer goes, I would love to take this abandoned, vacant, blighted property and turn it over to that woman next door. She's taking care of her house. She doesn't like that vacant property's been sitting there for years. An example comes to mind. These properties that are, a hurricane came through a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, and it's been nothing but mice and rats and vermin and, bums coming in there. And they just want that property cleaned up. I'll never forget one seminar I gave, or one presentation I gave. This was before city council. And the code enforcement director that really wanted this to happen had the good sense of bringing the police chief in. And a police chief came in and she spoke very passionately about how these vacant properties are a law enforcement problem. They're a public safety problem because the bad guys get in these houses and they cause problems. So there's no excuse all across this state for why we are not churning through these properties and getting them off the books so that they can have healthy communities, revitalized houses in there. One other example that came to mind just as I'm thinking of this. There is a community in the center part of the state that for years has had this war zone environment. This vacant set of properties that was townhouses. The community failed. The townhouse community failed, and so one after the other, one property's vacant after the other. And this entire complex, blow your mind, near Disney, believe it or not, is the source of newspaper articles, one after the other. Murders, crime. There's just a couple of people left in it, in this community. This is going back a couple years ago. But I'll never forget talking to these people, local government, and saying, well, why aren't you doing something about this? It's as black and white as it could be. You could be foreclosing against all of these things because the amount of money that the sheriff's spending going in there, law enforcement's going in there, this community should absolutely be foreclosing on every one of those, and that would force one of two options. Either the owners would step up and say, hey, we're going to take care of this, or when we writ large, foreclose on these dozens of lots, man, it's 100, I think, at the end of the day, that would have been the source for new and affordable housing in that community. Again, this example goes back years. I promise you, if I went back and looked at the records, this townhouse community is still the source of newspaper articles, crimes that are continuing to exist in this community. The call to action is this. You, viewer, have a magic wand sitting right there in your little hand. All you got to do is get in front of your mayor, your city council member, your manager, and say, what the hell are we doing? Why, Mayor, are you not just handing this wand, boom, across your community, and every single blighted house, tall grass, dangerous building is not put onto the auction steps in the first part of 2026 so that we can generate this income and use that property for affordable housing and the solution to some of these other problems that exist in our community. So if this message resonates with you, share it with your elected official, mayor, city council member. I challenge anybody, come on to the comments section and explain to me why we are not doing this in every single community across the state of Florida. I promise you, ain't nobody coming in there with a good explanation for why this ain't happening.